what's traumatic is not the nature of the event itself, but rather our response to it,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what I do. You know how we say you teach what you need the most typically.
You
So
know what? That was one thing I was coming in with
that's
this with. I was like, what
it.
in Pierre's story does he need? Why is he need this more than the people he works with?
That I don't know, my brother. This is really, I feel like it's a divine gift that was given to me because many years ago I studied international management. Um, and and then as I was studying it, I was like, I'm not sure this is for me, but I'll just keep going for a little bit. And then eventually, very soon I transitioned very early in my career to working in social development and leadership skills. And then eventually, as I realized that all this work with people living with HIV, I worked almost for a decade with the United Nations
Mm,
development program in the Arab world. And I realized that the most transformative experiences were not the ones that were actually providing technical skills or facts, or, like you can
yeah.
tell people that they're safe until they turn blue, that they're not going to feel it. And if their body, unless their nervous system and their emotions is aligned with that truth, this you in French we say it's like peeing in a violin. It's like you're doing nothing. It's like, which is a weird expression, but well, my point is the idea really of saying,
Yeah.
once I'm able to connect to the power of these emotions and these sensations and the wisdom of that nervous system, that's when the magic happens. And so for me, the more I practice, the more I lead people in individually, group containers, blah, blah, blah. This is, I'm realizing that the more we surrender, the better. And I hate to sound cliche. And it's like what you were saying earlier. It's like it's what do you mean? Like you can't really understand unless you've surrendered, but for you to give yourself the gift of actually feeling your fears, what a
Yeah.
gift. Because that's when I know for me, I often mention that my anger was both my poison and my medicine, right? My relationship with anger, my lack of my fear of being angry because of growing up with like blah blah blah, some scary father, blah blah blah. There's stories to it, but at the end of the day, it had shaped me into somebody who was reluctant to connect to my anger. And so I used to say I'm not angry. What a ridiculous thing to say when I think about it. And I'm saying
Yeah.
that with compassion. And I'm saying that to anybody who's listening and who's like, yeah, no, I'm not stressed out. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm not this. And then part of me is like, then are you really truly living life? Are you really experiencing the breadth of all this wide range of human experiences? Because for me, that's what it's about. And maybe in closing, that's to answer your question, that's what I'm doing. What I wish to do is for me to be able to feel as fully as possible,
Yeah.
to and to experience as fully as possible. And I've realized that for that, it's not about me teaching or how to be grateful and how to be happy and how to be content. That comes, but that comes also as a result of me actually connecting to my grief, to my anger, to my sadness, right? To that, like I think Osho says, the sadness gives roots and happiness gives branches, right? And the deeper the roots, the higher the branches. And for me, that's such an amazing and simple explanation of what we do when I work with people and I want to work with myself, which is like I'm growing these roots. I'm learning how to hold my sadness, my anger, all the emotional baggage I've had, so that these branches can grow. Because I trust, like you must have the most amazing people and enlightened people I've met, or people who've been through the most horrendous shit in their life.
Mm.